One thing I really enjoy about children's media is those episodes where they take on a serious topic and we watch one of the characters learning as the episode goes on. And in this video today, I want to talk about an episode from the show Arthur called The Princess Problem.
The Princess Problem.
In this episode, we follow DW, who likes something called the Princess Petunia, and this is a fantasy series that follows a group of princesses. And the way that get people involved in this is the hashtag is there's a princess for everyone. But then DW comes across Arthur's friend Lydia, and she says that she doesn't like princesses, and DW doesn't understand why. DW thinks that the reason why Lydia doesn't like princesses is because she's never seen any of the films. So she invites her over, and she puts on one of the Princess Petunia films, and at the end of the film, she is crying because of how beautiful this film is to her. And Lydia and Arthur have fallen asleep, and Lydia says to her, the reason why I don't like princesses is because I've never seen a princess that looks like me. And DW doesn't understand this. She's just like, why? There's princesses with red hair. What are you talking about? And Lydia, she's a wheelchair user, and she says, I've never seen a princess with a disability before. And DW is like, no, the doll said that there is a princess for everyone, so I am sure that there is a princess with a disability. So she goes to her friend Emily, and they start looking up, like, is there any princesses with a disability? And there's none. And Emily in this episode was something else because in her mind, having a princess with a disability is not princess like. And this whole episode, we see DW learning like the lack of representation when it comes to these princesses who claim that there's a princess for everyone, and just how crazy her friend is when she says things like, oh, you can't come to my party dressed up as a princess with a disability because that's not princess like. Emily to me is one of those people who comment woke under everything. Like they learned the word woke and they just ran with it and turned it into something that's like, oh, I saw a black person, this is woke. If Emily knew the word woke, I fear she'll be using it across this episode. Emily's okay with the fact that there's no princesses with disabilities because in her head, princesses are supposed to be perfect. If a princess uses a wheelchair, how is she going to escape if she's trapped in a tower? And DW is like, well, she has a magic tiara. She can just use the magic to create herself a ramp. And Emily's like, no, she doesn't care because princesses don't work like that. Princesses are supposed to be perfect. I was watching this and I was thinking, oh my God. But then I have to remember this episode, the whole thing is to show kids that the way Emily thinks is wrong and the things that Emily's saying is wrong. And we're seeing how DW is learning that people don't hate things because they just don't like it. Some people don't like and don't engage with things is because they don't have anything that appeals to them in there. Lydia doesn't hate princesses. Lydia just doesn't see anything that appeals to her from a princess line that claims that they have a princess for everyone. Where's her princess? As the episode is going, Emily decides to throw herself a princess party and she invites DW. And DW is excited for this. And then she sees Lydia again, and Lydia tells her about a real Spanish princess who had a disability. She was blind in one eye, and she tells her how amazing she was, how she overthrew the king, all that stuff, right? And DW is really excited about this. She tells Emily at school, and she's like, I want to come to your princess party and I want to dress up as this princess. Emily shuts this down immediately. She says, that doesn't sound very princessy, and if you want to come to my party, you are going to dress up as one of the girls from the Princess Platoon. If not, you're not coming to my party anymore. This causes DW so much stress that at night she has a nightmare about the Princess Platoon and she's trapped in the tower. One of the princesses called Princess Perky comes and she starts shouting at DW, telling her that you've turned your back on me. I'm perfect. Why would you not want to be like me? Who wants to be like this Spanish princess? Like DW wants to dress up as her. So she rips her page and DW wakes up and she realizes, you know what? I've had enough. If they're not going to make space for us, like I'm going to dress up as the Spanish princess. Lydia's going to dress up as her own version of a princess that she's created. And they're going to go to this party, which they end up doing. When they get to the party, it ends on a nice note where Emily is stuck in a bouncy castle. Lydia and DW end up saving her and Emily accepts their princesses and then she draws their picture and attaches it to the lunchbox along with the other Princess Platoon princesses, and she says, you are part of the Princess Platoon, and that's how the episode ends. What I really liked about this episode is the way that you approach the topic by showing like some people, the reason why they don't engage with certain things or they don't like certain things is because they don't see themselves in it. They have nothing that appeals to them. And then we also see like people who are against representation, even though like it's not changing what they like, it's just saying, oh, why can't we have other characters creating more spaces for other people, because Emily, she was saying, oh, this is going to change in her head, like this was going to change the princesses that she knows, but it wasn't. It was just creating space for more princesses, for more people to see themselves in these princesses. I really like seeing the journey that DW goes on in this episode, because at the start we see DW and her friends are talking to each other about how this princess looks like this girl, this princess looks like this girl, and they're very excited about the princesses that they're going to dress up as. But then when she learns like this franchise that she loves so much, that's saying, oh, there's a princess for everyone, doesn't have a princess for her friend, she just doesn't turn around and ignore it like Emily does. She actually goes out and she tries to research, she does her research, she tries to understand what's going on, and she wants to change things for the better, because she knows, right, this is not taking anything away from what she likes. This is just including her friend and making sure that she has something that she can look at and say, this is me, this looks like me. The reason why I want to talk about this episode is because earlier on today I was talking about the Rainbow Magic series, and I just remember the first time I talked about Elsie, the engineer fairy, and people were talking about, well, if she's a fairy, why does she use a wheelchair? Why does she need a wheelchair? Why not? The whole thing about Rainbow Magic, the whole series, is that there is a fairy out there that you will probably find. The fairy will have your name and she will do cool things, right? There's hijabi fairies. When I was growing up, that wasn't a thing. Now there's hijabi fairies. There's fairies from all different races and backgrounds, and Elsie is a wheelchair user. And the reason is because when they go to their home, they all don't fly every single time. Every single second of the day, they're not flying. And then also, why not? If there is hijabi fairies, if there is fairies from every single background, why not fairies with disabilities? Because that's not really affecting you. That's just kids. Like, I would have loved to see a fairy that looked like me when I was younger. It's just including people. There's nothing wrong with that. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say for this video. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure you give me a like and a subscribe and stick around for more content. And if you're watching this video, the 28th, Ramadan Mubarak if you celebrate it. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.